Hawks, it's Miss Medeiros here. I just want to let you know first off how much I miss every single one of you. It's definitely not the same without seeing my kindergarten, first and second graders every single day. I hope you're all staying healthy, safe, and happy while you're at home during this time. Today, if you're one of my students, the last time we were together, we were going over compare and contrast. So today, I want to show you how to make cookies. Okay? And while we're going to make our cookies, we're also going to be reviewing some sight words. We're going to make two different types of cookies. The first one being, I'm going to show you how to make cookies from a bag. Okay, chocolate chip cookies. And I'm going to show you how to make sugar cookies from scratch. I figured since we're all home during this time that we're cooking more. Probably, I know I'm definitely cooking more, so I wanted to show you what I've been doing during my time at home. At the end of this video, we're going to be going over a couple of different questions with comparing and contrasting. So on one side, we have the chocolate chip cookies, and on this side, we have the sugar cookies. We're going to discuss, or you're going to talk at home with whoever you live with, what the cookies are shaped like, what the color of each cookies, and how many cookies of each that I've made. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna do with our bagged cookies is first you're going to wash your hands. You don't want to ever cook food without washing your hands, so we can clean all our germs off. I cut the bag open. You're gonna take them out, and the cookies are already cut for you. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're going to take each of them, okay? You're gonna rip it out, and then you're gonna place it on a little tray, or a big tray, okay? Okay, so I've put them all on my tray. I have 4 left over, so I'm gonna have to make 2 batches. It should look like this. You don't want to scrunch them up too close together, because if you put the cookie dough right next to each other, they're all going to mush into each other when they melt and they spread out. Okay, so the next step you're going to do, you want to make sure that you are doing this with an adult if you choose to bake some cookies. You tell the adult that you live with that you're going to bake, set the oven to 350 degrees. So all you do is press bake and 300 and press the arrow until it goes to 350. Next, you're gonna ask the adult that you're with to open up the oven, and then you place, oh no, the cookies, but I put them back since I'm the only one that's eating them. That's okay. Mistakes happen. Oops, I had to throw a couple of them away, but that's okay. So once you put the cookies into the oven, you're going to have the adult you're with close it. We set our little timer. You can count with me. We're going to bake it for 11 minutes. So we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So in 11 minutes, we're gonna check back on our cookies and see what they look like. So I've taken the cookies out and they look like this. When I dropped them, some of them kind of moved a little bit closer together. So some of them got smushed, some of them look fine. But now we have to move them to what's called a cooling rack. And I'll show you how to do that. So now that the cookies have finished cooking on the tray and have cooled off a tiny bit, we're going to move it to a cooling rack where they'll start to get crispy. They have cooled off, and these are them. They crisped up a little bit, so they snap, and they taste pretty good. Alright, so now it's time to make sugar cookies. So making this is a little bit different than the bagged cookies because we have to use a lot of ingredients and mix them all together. So these are much more fun. So I'm going to show you the ingredient along with what the word looks like. I'm also going to put on the top the amount of ingredients you need for it. So we need flour. This is how you spell the food flour, okay? Sugar. And this is how you say sugar. Read sugar, spell sugar, sorry. Butter in the form of a stick. So 2 of them, which equals 1 cup. And that's how you spell butter. An egg. Okay, that's how you say egg, well, eggs. But in this recipe, we just use 1 egg. This is baking powder. This is salt. The salt helps the cookie not go bad and for it to taste good. And we use something called vanilla. Okay, it makes the cookies taste yummy. These are vanilla flavored sugar cookies. So what I'm also going to add, because with sugar cookies you can make them into different shapes and you can decorate them, which is why they're one of my favorite cookies to make. I'm also going to melt white chocolate to dip the cookies in, because when you dip the cookies in chocolate and it's still wet, you can sprinkle on there. So since St. Patrick's Day, the holiday just passed, I'm a little late, but I have some sugar cookie cutouts, so you can make the cookies into different shapes. So I have a sheep, I have a heart, which I'm going to decorate with some pink sprinkles, and I have a shamrock, which I'm going to put the white chocolate on top of the shamrock cookie and put some shamrock sprinkles. So what you're going to do with all these ingredients is you're going to put it into a bigger bowl. So you're gonna see me super fast motion putting everything into a bowl and mixing it up. I'm going to use an electric mixer, but you can mix it together with one of these, or with a whisk. Okay, super fast motion time. About the mixing is that your dry ingredients and your wet ingredients have to be separate in order for the cookies to bake the best that they can bake. So you have to put the flour and the salt and the baking powder together first, and then you mix it, and then you mix and then you add in the egg and the vanilla and the sugar, okay, so, and the butter, and you mix them 2 separately. Then you add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients a little bit at the time, so all the flour doesn't poof up into the air when it's mixing. It's happened to me plenty of times. So what you do next is you take your dough. So when it's all done mixing, it should kind of look like that, and it should be kind of dry and feel like crumbs in your hand. So you're going to scoop it out, and you're going to put it on something called parchment paper. Okay, so we're gonna scoop it out like that. And it's gonna be a little bit sticky when you touch it, but the trick is when you touch the dough, if you make your hands wet with water, the dough won't stick to you. Or you can add flour to your hands as well when you're working the dough. Just gonna scoop it all out. So what we have to do with the dough, since we got it all out, I'm going to use another piece of parchment paper to put it on top of the dough to flatten it all out. At this time, since it's sticky and a little bit warm from it mixing, we have to make it cold. Now we make it cold so when it makes the shape, when we cut out all the shapes and it goes in the oven, it won't poof up into a blob, it'll cook in its actual shape. So we have to make the dough cold first. So you're gonna see me in fast motion again, flatten out the dough before I put it in the fridge. You're also going to need a rolling pin so we can roll the dough flat. If you don't have one, you can use a can, any canned food that you have, or you can flatten out with your hands as well. Now that you rolled out the dough, it should look something like this. Okay, nice and flat. Then we're going to put it in the fridge. We need to put it in the fridge so when we cut out their shapes, they're nice and firm. If we cut it out now, they will be too sticky. So we have to put it in the fridge for 1 hour. I'll see you in an hour. Okay, so our dough has chilled for about an hour. So what we're gonna do now is the fun part is we're going to cut out all of our shapes. So first I'm going to make a couple of hearts. You stick it just right on the dough and then you kind of wiggle the cutout. And then you take your cookie out. You have a cute little heart. Okay, and then I'm putting it on a baking tray just like that. Okay, so you're just gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna make some sheep and some shamrocks too. I just put in a second batch of the sugar cookies for 10 minutes at 350 degrees. I just made the first batch and it turned out like this. Sometimes they can puff up for longer, for bigger than expected if they weren't cold. So what happened was I cut the cookies out and I was supposed to put them back in the fridge because they warmed up from being outside of the fridge after I cut them. So they're supposed to be cold once you put them in the oven. So once you cut out cookies, put them back in the fridge for about another half hour and then cook them, or you'll have big puffy cookies like these, but we're gonna make them look pretty and not big and puffy. Okay, so the last 3 are done. I just took them out. They are gonna stay on this baking sheet for about 3 minutes until they have hardened up. If you try to move them while they're hot, they'll crack and then they'll be broken. I moved these over. These have cooled. So we're going to fix some of the mistakes by melting some chocolate and decorating them. It's the good part about baking is you can always hide your mistakes. Like this little burn mark here, I'll just cover that with chocolate. And next I'll show you how to melt some chocolate. So while the cookies are cooling, we're going to melt some chocolate. We're gonna use white chocolate and then put some decorations on them. So melting white chocolate, we're gonna melt it in the microwave. You can do it a couple ways, but I'm gonna do it in the microwave because it's the quickest. I'm gonna have a little rubber spoon and we're gonna put it in the microwave for 10 seconds. You're gonna keep reheating it every 10 seconds and then stir. We need to stir it every 10 seconds so that the chocolate won't burn and then it will melt evenly. Okay, so I've melted the chocolate and what we're gonna do is we're going to dip the cookies in it now. So I'll show you one and then I'll do fast motion for the rest. So I'm going to take the shamrock cookie that I kind of burned and then I'm going to dip it into the bowl. My cat's trying to jump on the counter. So I dipped it and then I'm just smearing it. I'm only doing half. So then it looks like that. And you're gonna keep the cookie on the cookie tray. So it looks like that. So when we decorate it, the sprinkles and stuff will go on the bottom of the tray. I'm gonna decorate them and then show you what they look like. What the cookies look like. Literally what I'm doing is taking some of the chocolate and spreading it on the cookie and sprinkling some of my sprinkles on there. Product. So some of them I put only half chocolate on there, some of them I covered the whole thing in chocolate, some I used sprinkles and jimmies. So that's the fun part about cookies and frosting, is you can be very creative in how you want to decorate them. Okay, Hawks, so after this I'm going to put 2 pictures, one of the final product of the chocolate chip cookies and one of the final product of the sugar cookies. And so what I want you to do is to discuss with whoever you make cookies with, or even if you didn't make cookies, if you're watching this video with someone, talk about how the cookies were the same and how they were different. I'll show you 2 pictures of them side by side. I want to say how much I miss and love you guys. It's very sad not seeing you every day, and I can't wait to go back to school and see all of you again. I hope you liked baking with me, and I hope you learned something. Until next time, bye.